honoring our veterans tonight, we want to introduce you to two men who are preserving our history by interviewing men and women who served in World War II.
Now, they started years ago and recently decided that the stories they were hearing were so amazing they needed to be heard by everyone. So they started a podcast. It's called The Warrior Next Door, and it is positively Oklahoma.
I was sent from Harvard to San Francisco, which was the headquarters of the 4th Air Force.
For about 18 years, Tony Lupo and Ryan Fairfield have been interviewing World War II veterans as volunteers for the Library of Congress Veterans History Project.
We felt like there was a sense of urgency with these World War II veterans. At this time, they were in their 80s.
That's almost 200 stories from men and women who were there when history was made.
And often at night we could hear explosions as we approached the coast of Europe.
You realize that they were witness to some aspect of history that was very pivotal in its own right in World War II.
Pivotal because the U.S. was much different coming out of the war than when going in.
We went from having a second-rate military to being one of the superpowers of the world, and a nuclear power, all in the span of less than 4 years.
And what they've been hearing is so amazing, they've decided to share these stories of triumph.
That was a hair-raising experience.
And stories of terror with everyone.
Things like being a witness to the Nuremberg trials or walking through a post-war apocalyptic Japan that had just been nuked.
It's called the Warrior Next Door podcast because the men and women interviewed aren't presidents and generals who've been written about time and time again. These veterans could be your neighbor or the person in front of you at the grocery store.
The ordinary soldier had a story that was just as compelling as General MacArthur's.
Easily, a third, if not half of all the interviews we've done are all Tulsa people.
Yeah.
Oklahomans with a story to tell about a time that changed the world and forced people with different backgrounds and beliefs to work together for the common good.
These people were forced to work together to solve problems, and it created a unity, a true melting pot that maybe doesn't exist to the same degree today as it did back then.
Barriers were definitely knocked down back then.
The Warrior Next Door is on all the major podcast directories, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, but be ready because what you'll hear could change the way you think.
I'll tell you, it scared the hell out of you when you'd hear these explosions.
If you listen to our podcast, you're going to walk away with dirt on your boots.
There you go. Good stuff. And they want more. They want to hear more stories.
Absolutely. So positively Oklahoma. Great job on that, Mike.
We do good things here.